Hey there, welcome to the table. I just finished a week-long gaming event called Gameghis Con. It's hosted by me. It occurs during the week between Christmas and New Year's. It was 8 days of 24 hours a day non-stop gaming, and I am actually going to continue my Frosthaven campaign as soon as I can catch my breath, and I gotta go back to work and all this other stuff. But it will hit the table again because I'm very anxious to continue that. But I wanted to talk about and give like a brief review of some of the games we played during Games Con. Not in front of us at this moment is ISS Vanguard. I actually have it set up on another table. My son and I started a brand new campaign, started it from the beginning, and we binged it for at least 4 days straight of, I'm talking 16 to 20 hours a day. We were nuts. And we are very far into the game, much further than the playthrough on this channel ever did. And then when we got to that big battle where I did horrible on the playthrough on the channel, we actually won that battle. We didn't even lose. And there's a couple of spots in the game where you have to literally roll perfect. And we did. And then, of course, there's spots where you have to roll perfect, and we didn't. But the game is going great. We have all the dice unlocked, everything going. We have, I think, 5 out of the 9 planets colonized, or embassies, or whatever. And we're well on our way. In fact, criticism I have of the game is I'm actually bored now. Because there's nothing left to unlock. We're just playing to play, and there's at least, oh gosh, 7 or 8 planets we've never even landed on, and I don't want to land on them because it's just, what else is there to do? The storyline is still going. It's not fully complete. I'm still curious, what the whole point of the builders was and stuff. So we're going to try to finish it before he heads back to college. I only have 1 week left before that happens, so that is going to eat into my Frosthaven time, but it is what it is. It's a great game, ISS Vanguard. Did I get my money's worth? I spent an awful lot of money on that game. It did not disappoint me. Let's put it that way. Is it worth all the money that you could spend on it? Maybe not, but there's still another wave of stuff coming. Anyways, another game that you don't see here is My Father's Work. So we spent a full day playing that game, and I both loved it and I have issues with it. And I'll just lay it out because, if you've played My Father's Work, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. But basically, in My Father's Work, it's an app-driven game. Like, there's a lot of narrative on the app, but the app is driving the game. So you do things on the board, and as you know, when you're on this channel, I spoil things. So leave because I'm going to spoil some stuff right now. The first mission is like a yellow fever mission, and the way My Father's Work works is you play 3 generations of a family, and they're sort of like the Addams family. Like they tinker in the dark occult stuff, and they make little Frankensteins, and I think in our game there was lycanthropy everywhere that we were dealing with. But yellow fever is what started the game, and the game said that you could go to this church and donate to the church and collect these heart tokens. Now, one of the problems I had was I was so new to the game, I didn't understand that those heart tokens were special tokens just for that particular generation. I thought I was going to be collecting heart tokens the entire game, forever. But it was just for the first generation. So, big mistake on my part. What happened was we collected 8. One of the guys with us, David, I'm calling you out by name, was completely selfish and didn't donate anything. We ended up with 8 hearts, and then after the end of the generation, the app said, oh, well, you needed 9, so now we're going to punish you. And never anywhere in the game did it tell you how much you needed. And I think some people like that kind of thing in a game. I don't. I want to know what my objective is. And even if it's some number, I still want to know. And then later in the game, I get this card. and the card says, you're cordially invited to a secret, cult club. And so, you just have to, we're going to send you the first four CDs for 99 cents, and then after that, you're going to be charged $19.99 a month. So I said yes to it, because of course I've always wanted to try out one of those CD things and wonder how I'm getting ripped off. I never had the guts to try it when I was younger, so I'm going to try it now, right? So I did this, and then nothing happened with the secret cult that I joined the rest of the game. There was a later generation where there were three buildings that you could expose some shenanigans going on in those buildings, and if you did expose it, you would get victory points. It told you you get victory points if you expose this, but it didn't say that the shenanigans were affiliated with your cult, so it's in your best interest to not expose it. So I voted to expose it. I had no idea that I was exposing my own cult. And so somebody else was like, yeah, I don't want to expose my cult, so they voted no. I voted yes. The yeses won. And then, I got victory points for exposing them. And then I got nothing for actually being in the cult. And then he got nothing for voting no. It felt flat to me. Like, what was the point of all this? Why am I in a secret cult if the secret cult doesn't do anything? The game really fell flat for me in that regard. Now, with that said, I want to try it again. And there's a whole bunch of different missions. Like, I only spoiled the first one. But the first one, was wonky to me. Like, it had broken pieces. And, I joined the secret cult, but then nothing happened. And maybe some of you who played that game, you joined the secret cult and something did happen for you. I would be very curious to find out, what the heck was I supposed to do? And that's the problem I have with the game is the app is just saying, you win, you lose, somebody gets voted mayor. They told us we needed to save money, so how much money? I don't know. So I'm saving 8 money, and I'm hurting myself from winning the game because it's a victory point driven game. I have 8 money, and then it's like, oh, you're just bidding an auction style bid to win mayor. Well, screw that. I didn't bid anything. I bid 0. I don't care about being mayor. And so the mayor got this little dinky little prize at the final generation. And then he got to choose a library or a bank. And still, because he chose the library, he got some dinky prize at the end of the game. It just wasn't it was very anticlimactic. And so it's a game that has a really great concept that stumbled. I was going to say fell flat. It did that too. It fell flat. It stumbled and fell flat. How about that? So My Father's Work. I know I just spent a lot of time talking about it. It's got a lot of hype right now. And I actually told him that if he were to sell it, I would consider buying it. So I just complained about it a lot. But I need to play it again. I want to play it again. And I offered him, I said, when you want to play this again, call me. And he's got the whole blinged out, he put a lot of money into that game, and it has potential. Let's just put it that way. But that first scenario left me, it was just things about it that just I didn't like how the secret cult thing never turned into anything. I didn't like how the app would just say, you win, you lose. If I need to save up money, I want to know why I'm saving up money. It's just all those things. They take away from my enjoyment of the game. All right. With that said, a couple of other ones that aren't seen here that other people brought. We played some classics like Azul, Secret Hitler. We did not play Good Cop, Bad Cop, but we were going to. Which, by the way, Good Cop, Bad Cop was designed right here in my gaming group. I didn't have anything to do with the design, but one of the guys in my gaming group did. And I haven't seen him in years, but they would go to the Fantasy Flight Games Event Center in Roseville, and that's where we would meet him. And there's a Wednesday night group. So if you ever want to join a big gaming group, there's a Wednesday night group, 60 or more gamers back in its heyday. I don't know how much there are after COVID, but yeah, you just show up and say you're looking for the gaming group. Everybody knows who we are and points to us. I don't game with them anymore. I have my own different group that's closer to home. But they're still there. They're still rocking. And anyways, great group of guys. The Good Cop Bad Cop was designed by two people in that group, and it was a great game for its time. But I think other games just do it better now. And they had a little gem for a while. I think. I don't know how much they made off of it or what they capitalized with it, but they did have a good one. Um, so did not play it, but it was talked about heavily. And I think let's just get into what we played. So the first one that we played is an oldie but goodie, Rococo. And this is my copy, but somebody had the deluxe blinged out version, which was sweet. I mean, my copy is more than sufficient, but the deluxe blinged out version was fantastic. Um, this game is a fairly old game, and from my perspective, it stays in the collection. It is a great game. It has its flaws, don't get me wrong, but the flaws are mostly just there are certain cards that everybody knows is coming, and after you've played it a few times, you know to go for those, and because that's the way you score your points. Um, but this is a fantastic game, and thematically, and I'm not trying to be, you know, what's the? I'm not a very politically correct person. I'm not trying to be gender challenged here, even though I am gender challenged. Um, this appeals to women. It's a theme that women enjoy playing more than robots fighting each other in a futuristic universe. Um, and I'm not, and that's a very generalistic thing to say, but the whole point to generalisms is that they're statistically true. And I still think that even in today's day and age where everything's being challenged, that's still true. And in my group for the Gameghis Con party, that was definitely the case. There were women who gravitated towards this and really wanted to play this, and they were not disappointed. And you're making dresses in the game. I mean, it's definitely a feminine type of game, and not only are you making dresses, but it's a fun game. I mean, who cares about the theme? You could slap a different theme on it, and it's still just as fun. Um, but it's very thematic for making dresses. With the way you send out your apprentices. Um, I can't say enough good things about this game. It's older, it's good. Are there other games that do what this does? Like a lot of Lacerda games do what this does, maybe a little better. Um, but for what it is, it's very easy. It's almost a gateway game, almost. Um, but yeah, it's one of the few games I have that when I have a husband and wife, and the wife's not so sure about games, but the husband's like, yeah, I really want to play. Rococo is a really good one to get out because the wife can really get into the dressmaking theme. Like it's something she can, you know, she identifies with better than Galaxy Robots, um, and it's got enough gaming to it that people who are hardened gamers can still enjoy it. I mean, it's a very challenging, great game. Anyways, Rococo. We played that on Christmas Eve. We actually started a little early. Next one is something I've been meaning to cover on the channel, and I just haven't yet. It's called Long Shot the Dice Game. This was a great, palate cleanser after you play like a brain burner, and I can't say enough how much I love this game. It's a roll and write horse racing game, and it's fantastic. Some of the players I played this with, though, have proven to me that you can do analysis paralysis and actually ruin this game. So as much as I love the game, there are certain players I now realize I never want to play this with again. But anyways, it is like I said, it's a roll and write. There's a large variety of horses that, with special powers. You roll dice, you use your markers, you have a little bingo board and stuff. It's just, to me, it's a fantastic game, but some people with analysis paralysis issues can really ruin this for you. Anyways, Long Shot, the dice game. Next one is a game that has been in my collection for a long, long time. And we didn't finish it because the rules were not fully understood by me, and it was just taking forever. And because it was taking forever, I don't know if I will ever find a group to play this game. Android. Android has a lot of rules. I understand the 90% of the rules, but like I don't know all the characters and their story arcs and when somebody gets a piece of evidence, I know it's supposed to go in another location of the same color, but like I constantly had to look that stuff up. And the game goes over 2 week period. Everybody gets like essentially 6 time actions. There's some exceptions, but it's a murder mystery. But there's really not a mystery to it because you get a card that says you want this guy to be the murderer, and so then you plant evidence on him to make them the murderer. It does seem like you're planting evidence on them. I think thematically it is the person who really did commit the murder, but it's wonky that way. Like the way you play the game is you want this guy to be the murderer even if he's not. Like there is no such thing as a true murderer. You don't like shuffle cards and pull one out and that's the murderer. You literally just have cards that say if this guy turns out to be the murderer, then you score this many points. And it's almost like long shot the dice game. You want horse number 5 to win. Well, that's this. This is long shot the long game. It's in a futuristic universe. It did not appeal to the women at all. I really do want to play this game. I think you have to be in the right mode to play it. And you have to be okay with not winning. I don't know how balanced this game is. It seems like some characters have grossly superior powers over others. It seems like some places on the board are inexpensive and powerful, and other places are so expensive I don't know how anybody's ever going to want to do that action. It's got like a Tetris puzzle-y thing where you actually build puzzle pieces. It's not Tetris-y, but anyways, you build a puzzle to reveal conspiracies. This game has so much, and I personally know Kevin Wilson. He came to our gaming group. He used to show up and game test or play test games at Fantasy Flight Games, and if you had time, he'd welcome you to his table and you could help him play test some games. He is one of the kindest, nicest guys I've met, Kevin Wilson. Anyways, he has personally told me that he would not teach me this game because he was a little embarrassed by it, like it was because it's bloated. Like he felt like this needed to be refined and condensed and maybe not take as long. And I have to confess, it took a long time. Like it's a 2 week long game and we were only like 3 days in and we already killed an hour and a half and I'm fumbling through rules to answer people's questions. And the problem is somebody needs to have a command and control knowledge of the rules. And how am I going to get that? This has been on my shelf for over 10 years. And this was the first time I've played it in that 10 years. I did try like 10 years ago. So anyways, this is a game I really, really want to play. You need a minimum of 3 people crazy enough to waste 4 hours. And because I think that's how long it would take to play this game, 4 hours. I've heard somebody say it took them 12 or 16. That's nonsense. I could play a whole 18xx game in that amount of time. I did not think that my lack of knowledge of the rules was that bad, but I was looking up rules a lot because people would ask these like fringe questions because there's a lot of fringe stuff in this game. Anyways, it would help to have somebody who's played it before, but it's impossible because the only way somebody will have played it before is for us to grudge through a game. And unfortunately, even though I had a full 8 days of gaming, I could not get somebody to finish this with me. So it was a regret. I do have a suspicion that this is not a very good game to today's standards. Like maybe this was made back in 2008, I believe. I think from way back then, this is when FFG was fantastic. Like they would make bloated games. I like bloated games. That's the thing. Like I actually have a strange feeling I would like this game. I think it's going to have balancing issues where some characters are more powerful than others. That it might have issues with certain spaces being more powerful than others. But I still think that like the concept of this game and what it's trying to do has never been done since. And that's why I like this game. I think it was ambitious, and I want to reward Kevin for that ambitiousness, but even he himself would not teach me how to play it. And I'm sad, and I haven't seen Kevin in probably 5 or 6 years now. I don't know. He hasn't showed up to FFG lately. I don't know if he moved away or what his personal story is, but um, like I said, I know him, but I don't know him like, hey buddy, how you doing? Like I'm not that kind of relationship. But um, the when you hang out at FFG Event Center, you do run into designers all the time. It's pretty cool. Okay, the next one was a real hit, and I wasn't expecting it, but that is Shadows over Camelot. I was the trader, and at the same time, I was teaching them how to play. That's always a bad spot to be in. So what I did was, is I tried to play as goody two shoe as possible because I wanted to help everybody, and I didn't care if I lost. But we got to a point where the round table was filled with swords, and we were losing badly. The traders were. So then the card came up that said that if you accuse somebody falsely, two of the swords go back, turn to black. So if nobody's ever played this before, this is a hidden trader game, and it was one of the first. Like there's so many other hidden trader games that do what this does very well, like Battlestar Galactica being a big one. But basically, you're Knights of the Round Table, and you're doing quests, and of course you're fighting. You know, you got the dark forces of Morgana and whatnot. And there's 12 spots on the round table, and if you successfully do a quest, you get to place white swords on the round table. And if you get once all 12 swords are filled in, if there's more white swords than black, then the players win. And then of course the traders want to have more black swords than white. And then there's other ways the traders could win, like the Picts or the Saxons can put, you can end up, winning because catapults siege Camelot, and Camelot, falls from siege. There's many ways, or even just players just straight up die because they run out of hit points, and so characters can die in the game too. So there's multiple ways for the traders to win, but we won because I had that card that let me flip two swords to black, and there was two traders in the game. We were playing a 7-player game. And anyways, it was glorious because I accused somebody, and then I didn't know who the other trader was, but he immediately did the same thing I did. And so we turned 4 of the white swords to black, and we already had a few black ones on there, and it only takes 6 or 7 to win, and that's exactly what happened. So Shadows over Camelot, it was a lot of fun. I guess I'm told this game is worth a lot of money. I didn't realize that. I guess I should sell it. I mean, I don't really ever play it, but it's a fun game. I do enjoy it, and I can understand why people want the game. And to my understanding, it's the Wizards expansion, which I do have. And what's funny is I bought this immediately back in the day, and I didn't pay any premium price for this. This is just a game I bought and always had. So, anyways, great game. I guess it's worth a lot of money, so I better take good care of it. Next up is a really hyped game, and that is Brazil. Brazil, I guess, was in what's it, the Gen Con thing that happens in Europe. I forget it. It's the name of a German city. Anyways, this one had a lot of hype. And so I went and got it because I'm a sucker for 4X games, and that's what this is. This is a 4X game where you are, I don't know, you're definitely colonizing Brazil, but one of the characters is actually Brazilian native. So it's not just European imperialization. It's the Brazilian natives are imperializing Brazil too. I mean, it's got some beautiful components to it. It has a Euro feel because every turn you do an action along this board, and then you get to move your troops. So you get 1 movement point for your troops, and you get to do an action. I like the game. I think it's a little overhyped though. Like, for what it does, it's okay. So a couple of my buddies absolutely. Well, they don't absolutely dislike this game, but they think that war is neutered. Like, the whole point of generating military units, like, they feel like it doesn't do much. But here's the thing. There's there's like little exploration tokens, so you can send your military to explore that, and then it'll give you victory points or resources, or there's all kinds of wonky things that it can do, and you need your military to accomplish those things. And to me, that's the point of the military. The other point of the military is when you deploy your military, you have to pay a price, and then you score victory points. The moment that's deployed, it's going to get you victory points at the end of the game. So you basically, it's just like a Euro. I mean, you want to unlock all your military so you can score the maximum points possible, and you want to build as many other things so you can score maximum. So I think you have to have the mindset of your military is there to score you points. They're not there to conquer the other player. And I think my buddies wanted to conquer other players, and that was the hang-up. Because conquering other players doesn't really get you a lot of points. In fact, it's a waste of your actions. So, although sometimes it can work, but still, I never once conquered anybody. I just used my military to explore, and then to unlock points. And then I just moved them to places where they could defend my territory. And then I went after points, like paintings. There's paintings in this game. They give you superpowers. It's a well done game. Am I blown away by it? No. I think some people overhype it, but it's a well done game. Like the only gripe, like I said, is that some people want more wars. They want to battle each other, and this isn't about that. This is like a true Euro. You have to treat it like a Euro, even though it's a 4X. You don't go to war with people. You score points. That's your goal. Everything you're doing is to build your engine and score points. And if you think of it that way, this can be a really good game. And is it going to stay in my collection? For now, yeah. I mean, would I trade it? Maybe. I have a lot of games that do this. Maybe not as well. Like this one might actually replace some of my other ones, like Civilization: A New Dawn, or oh gosh, I have what's it called? I have it behind me here. At least I thought I did. Oh dang it, it'll come to me. And it's not behind me. What did I do with that game? Anyways, it plays just like Civilization, but it doesn't matter. The point is, I had fun. We played this 3 times, and it's a little overhyped though, but I understand why people like it. It's Brazil. It could stand a few expansion packs, if you ask me. In fact, there was a lot of signs that it had expansions, and they took them out on purpose, which that annoys me sometimes. But I fully expect a few are going to be coming for this. So Brazil, in the collection for now. Next one is another old one, but I actually love this game. Francis Drake. Francis Drake is almost a perfect game for me. Now, it's not a good solitaire game. That's why you don't ever see me cover it on the channel. But in terms of playing a game, this is almost a perfect game. It has hidden knowledge. It has, you have to decide where to place your workers. And it's one of those games where you're moving along a track, and whoever's in the back it's their turn. So you can choose to go one space at a time and keep taking a turn until you finally pass somebody. Or you could go after that really important thing up there, but you have to skip everybody else. You're skipping all these actions, and then you have to wait for everybody else to take their turns until they finally pass you before you get to take your turn again. It's one of those games. And you get to plunder, you get to go after gems, you take down fortresses, there's like different regions in the sea that you need to have enough rum to be able to get to. So much great strategy in this game, and there's ways that you can influence a commander, so you can manipulate and control where the cannons are going to go. And so by having that knowledge, you know exactly how many cannons you need to take down a certain fortress, or I don't know, does it show a picture of the map on the back? It does. Let's flip this over. At great peril, I just flipped that over. So there's different regions, and for example, this region here takes a lot of rum to get to, and if you place like there's like different fortresses that you can attack, and some of them are only in this region over here. So if you have the person where you get to place down the tokens, the cannon tokens, and you place them face down, so nobody knows until it's time to do the attack. So if you're the only one that got enough rum to get out here, you make sure that none of the cannons are on your region, so you get to attack everything there and they're all defenseless. And then you put all the cannons where all the other players go, and they're stuck because you're punishing them for not having enough rum. And it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. Anyways, Francis Drake. It's a beautiful box. It's a beautiful game. Eagle Games. I think they make a lot of crappy, mediocre games, but they do have some gems, and this is definitely one of them. Francis Drake, fantastic. Would love to play it more. Next one was the new Libertalia, Winds of Galecrest. So this is the one that was done by Jeremy Stagmeyer, or Stonemeyer, I'm sorry. I think it's Stagmeyer, and anyways. Sorry if I butchered your name, Jeremy. I own both of these. I own this one and the original. What I found interesting is I like this one more. The artwork, everybody agrees the original artwork is better. The whole flying ship thing is, I don't know, it's strange to me. But I had a lot of friends that actually liked the original more, like the gameplay. And I don't know how, because to me the gameplay of this is better by large margins, because it has all the gameplay of the old one, plus it has more stuff. But I think some of the issue is that you can get so Libertalia is all about your pirates. You're going out for a week, and you play these cards, and you're grabbing booty and trying to score points really and get money. And there's a million ways to do it, and there's just so much chicanery, and it's chaotic. This game is pure chaos. There's strategic ways to manipulate the chaos, but sometimes no matter your best laid plans will still backfire against you. That's what I love about this game. It's pure chaos. But it is possible, because you randomly draw which cards are going to be you start the game with, and the interactions between the cards could be really boring. And that is what happened in our playthrough. And I played this twice, but with the first group, the cards we got for the first week were very boring. There wasn't a lot of interaction. There wasn't a lot of take that. I mean, when you have the beggar, so if you have a really high numbered card, you get to be the first one to take the loot. So you get to take the best of the loot. Well, then somebody else could put out the beggar, and it says whoever has the highest number card has to pay you money, which is points. And it's just beautiful, because somebody's going after, the treasure chest or the map or whatever, and then 3 people play a beggar card on him, and so he loses 6 points going after that chest, which is only worth 4 in the game we were playing. And it's just sweet justice, right? But with this one, the issue is we didn't have that. If you had the highest card, you just got to take the booty, and nobody did anything to you. There was nothing. I mean, there's another guy that straight up kills whoever the highest person is. So you're afraid to be the highest person, because you're going to get killed. Or you're going to be, okay, I'm the second highest person, but somebody played 2 of them. So then both of the highest people and the second highest person got killed. It can be a wonderfully chaotic and beautiful game, but at the same time, it can be boring. And so I had one boring game, and I had one that was a lot of fun. The boring game people preferred the original. And there's nothing I can do to change their mind. I mean, it is what it is. They preferred the original. And sometimes the artwork just does that, right? The artwork for this not as good as the original. Actually, the box is beautiful. If you ask me, like this is a beautiful artwork. But the point is the whole flying ships, like Pirates of the Caribbean, is where it's at, and that's what the old Libertalia had. And I fully understand the story. Paulo Mori let Jeremy redo this game, which I think Jeremy did a fantastic job of doing, but the art had to be done by somebody else. And it's no slam on Lamaro Smith. I think he had to make it a little more cartoony and different because of rights. Like the publisher of the original game had the rights to the artwork, whereas Paulo had rights to the game. So he was able to do Libertalia, but he had to completely do the artwork differently, and they couldn't do a Pirates of the Caribbean theme. Like that was forbidden. So as much as this guy just got slammed a little bit, he did his job. And to be honest, I think this is a beautiful box. It's just, yeah, it doesn't feel the same. I mean, everybody likes the Pirates of the Caribbean. Like the original one is better. But anyways, it's also a game that you can play with 6 players, and we had a night where there were 6 people, or a whole day actually, where there was 6 or more people, and this was a great way to get everybody together. Fantastic game. I own both versions. I would always get out this version instead of the old one, unless I'm playing with that one group. Next one, Twilight Inscription. Fantasy Flight game finally made a good game. I don't like a lot of the new Fantasy Flight games. This one was fantastic, if you ask me. I've played this 4 times. The one thing I can say is, obviously, the more you play it, the better you get at it. And so there is like a little bit of a... It's like playing tennis. I like the tennis analogy. If you're playing tennis against somebody who's evenly matched with your skill level, you're going to have a great time. But if you're playing tennis against somebody who's tremendously worse than you, then you're going to hit the ball over the net, they're going to miss it, and then you're going to wait for them to run down and fetch the ball. Fine, you got 3 tennis balls in your pocket, so you pull out another one. It doesn't matter. At some point, all your balls are going to be out of your pocket, and you didn't do any volley of any funness of any kind, and you're spending the whole game watching them chase after balls. Or the flip side, you're playing against somebody way better than you, and you're spending the whole game chasing the ball, and they're spending the whole game watching you chase the ball. The point is tennis isn't fun when that happens. It's only fun when it's the two of you, laughing and or being serious or whatever, that can actually get the ball back and forth to each other. Twilight Inscription is one of those types of games. It's an 8-player game, and we did a 7-player game of this. A lot of 3-player games. I even played against the solo bot. There was 2 of us, and we played against the solo bot, which so I could cover this on the channel. It actually might be worth doing. It's a great game. I'm going to leave it at that. But however, big however, the group griped about it, and I do have to agree with them. I can't argue with their point of view. The 7-player version of this took 3.5 hours. There was some teaching. Yes, it could be a little faster, but you get that one analysis paralysis person, that same guy that ruined Longshot the Dice game, they ruined this one too. And yeah, it was miserable. Waiting for them to finish. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you only have 4 symbols. You do 4 things. Just do them. But anyways, yes, that was my internal voice. That wasn't my external. But yes, this is, in my opinion, a keeper. I like roll and write games. Most roll and write games aren't very serious. They're just lighthearted. This one's a very serious one, and it was great. I have a lot of positive things to say about it. Maybe we'll cover it in the channel, but FFG actually made a good game, and it's a roll and write, no less. I like the concept of a roll and write. Like, I'm warming up to it. I really am. At first I thought, okay, this is silly, but although I will have to say that the orange ink on this is annoying, and it did get into my felt as people were erasing. It wiped onto here, and it was a bear to clean. But anyways, Twilight Inscription. I think the only gripe is, even at 2 players, the games are long. It's a very long game to play, and I think that's going to be a deterrent for a lot of people. Like, they just can't take a roll and write that seriously for 2 or 3 hours. Next one is one you've seen me cover on the channel. We played this multiple times. Crisis. It is the perfect game. There's very few games in my collection that are better than this. This will never leave my collection unless Ludi Creations comes out with a new version of it that just does it better. But I don't know if they ever will. It is a fantastically perfect game. I wish I had more factories and expansions. The spies are stupid. It is one of the expansions. There's these little spies with... we actually got rid of the spies. We will not play with the spies ever again. We just think that they're dumb. We played 5-player of this, and then of course you've seen me play solo on the channel. It is fantastic in all player counts. What's interesting though is in the high player counts, the employees that you hire are really tight. Like, meaning your first 1 or 2 actions is you're going after employees, because that's the only, like, and you never have enough employees to run your factories. But when you're playing by yourself, there's too many employees, and you need more actions to do other things. It's really interesting how the balance of the game changes, but yet it stays balanced. It's insane. But anyways, close to a perfect game. I missed the first Kickstarter. I got in on it whenever they did the second one. No regrets. Perfect game. In the forever column. Next up, Nippon. I want to like this game more. I don't. I love these designers. These designers make Panamax. They made Madeira. They're supposed to make a Brazil, as far as I remember. I don't know what the status is with that. I love these guys. The What's Your Game? I don't know what happened to them, but with COVID, like, I'm still waiting for the Madeira upgrade, and it still hasn't come. Like, it's one of the oldest Kickstarters I have that has never arrived. And there's even rumors that they were never going to deliver. But I think I've seen some emails from them that they're still around. But anyways, this game is not bad. It's just that the other ones are better. So, so Nippon is about industrializing Japan. So it's around that era where Japan's trying to become industrialized. I think there's some really good mechanics to it. It is a game that that suffers from old components because it is an older game. It's not the worst game in the world. It's also not the best. I do love these guys and what they do, and I keep the game. It's not... would I be willing to trade this one? Sure. Because I have Panamax and Madeira. Like, I would rather play Madeira than this. That's my issue. This is a 4-player game from the same guys. There's some mechanics in Madeira that's similar to the mechanics here, and Madeira just does it better. So I'd rather play Madeira than this. So, anyways, Nippon. This next one, you've seen on the channel. Heat, Pedal to the Metal. We played a 6-player version of this, and then we played a whole championship season where we played with 6 players, and then we got the Game of Life bots out, and then we had 6 Game of Life bots, cars, and so it was like 12 people all in the race. That was a bit too much, so we reduced it down to 8. So we had 8 cars. But we played this multiple times. It came out a lot. This game is not that great of a game, if you ask me. But for a 6-player light game, it's perfect. And that's why it stays in the collection. And that's why it came out so much. Because everybody wanted to try Heat. And there's nothing wrong with it. It was just... it's not like a brain heavy game. It's a very lighthearted game, but it still takes an hour and a half to finish. So um, it's too long for how lighthearted it is for me. Um, but with that said, I got it out all the time. Every time we had 6 people, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, we could play Heat," and everybody said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So, and then we even did a whole championship season, which I did enjoy. I did enjoy, but by the time we were done, I was ready for it to be done. So, anyways, Heat. And then the next one we actually played twice. Um, City of the Big Shoulders. This game is an 18xx mixed with worker placement and Arkwright. If you've ever played Arkwright the board game, it's a sort of a merger of all those games. Fantastic. Fantastic game. Love this game. However, I broke it. I was able to buy all but one resource in the resource market, and I left one single resource in every market space. And per the rules, they don't refresh. So I screwed the next company who needed a bunch of resources. They literally could not buy enough resources to help themselves run. So what they did is they refused to buy resources. So then they screwed the next company, who then couldn't buy resources. So then they refused to buy resources. So then it screwed the next. Like, it was this big chain reaction. And it was so bad that it eventually got to my second company, and then I got screwed because I bought all the resources and nobody in front of me bought any of the resources. So the only good news is my second company was able to make goods even without resources. So I was able to sort of like still make a profit and move up on my stock. Anyways, I angered the players so bad that one of them told me they will never play this game ever again. And then 2 others, the next day when we were playing a game, they played every screw you card on me and said this is because of last night. Then the day after, they did it again. Like, everybody, this left such a sour taste in their mouth that everybody was determined to never let me win a game ever again. And City of the Big Shoulders caused all that. I had almost a perfect game of this. My company did fantastic, and I ended up with over $1,000 at the end. That's really hard to do in a 4-player game, but I did it. I got over $1,000. The next person was, I think, at 300 and something. I mean, I blew everybody else out of the water. Now, it didn't help that I screwed them on the last round. And I certainly, by doing that, I really hosed them. So I proposed a house rule where those resource markets refill no matter what. I think it's a kinder game and it's a better game. See, the thing is with 18xx games is you are supposed to be able to, like, some of the heart of the 18xx games is I can buy your shares, and then at the right moment I'm going to sell them all and screw you over and cause all your shares to drop. Like, it's a cutthroat style of play. Like, you need to be a dick to play these games, 18xx at least. This game has the dick mechanics in it, and of course I did it, but it made people sour, so sour, because since this is also a worker placement and has a little bit of Euro mechanics and other things going on, it doesn't quite feel as satisfying. I mean, yeah, I really hammered everybody else, but I was already winning. I was going to win even without doing that to them. So there's a part of me that's like, you know what, I just ruined my favorite game, one of my favorite games, and now I got people who won't come over and play it. Next time I bring this up, they're going to be like, nope, I'm not playing that game with you anymore. And there is such a thing as you can win a game too handily and ruin it, and then it never gets to your table. So, City of the Big Shoulders, I don't know what to say. We did play it twice, so that part's good. I enjoyed it, and I I guess I won't be seeing it again for quite a while. So there were other games that other people brought, and I'm trying to remember what they were. Like My Father's Work was the one I really wanted to get in on, and I did. There was a lot of I played this Tulip game. It's just a card game. Fantastic game. We played Salem. It's a little card party game where there's some hidden witches, and you need to figure out who the witches are in the town of Salem. A lot of games like that. There was a fantastic game, highly recommend, called Camel Up. Camel Up is like a horse racing game, but it's with camels, and it's got some goofy mechanics where two of the camels are going backwards around the track because they ran the wrong way, and then the camels jump on top of each other, and so one camel will carry another camel, and then once they're going backwards, if they land on the spaces in the right order, the backwards camels will cause camels to go backward on the track. It's beautiful. There's some great auctioning or betting mechanics, and when it's your turn, you can bet on a camel, or you could roll a die to see if a camel's going to get to move, but you don't get to do both. And there's so much strategy on, do I roll a die which reveals information, or do I take a bet? Because if you're the first one to take a bet, you get the most money. And then you could bet on which camel's going to win the whole race. That also could get you a lot of money. But if you're wrong, then you lose money. There's so much to it, and it's got strategy. It really does, but it's also very, very lighthearted. As far as a racing game goes, I actually liked it more than Long Shot the Dice game, and I love Long Shot the Dice game. So, anyways, Camel Up was fantastic. We played that at least 2 or 3 times. To me, it's the perfect palate cleanser type of game. Oh, let's see. We had Brass. I didn't play Brass. There was After the Empire. I own that one, so I didn't play that. There was some Dark Tower and Gaia Project, but then everybody forgot the rules, including me. So we didn't get Gaia Project going. And I believe that's it. So there were probably some other games played that I can't remember. And then, of course, I don't remember what was on the other tables, if other people were playing on other tables. But it was a great, fantastic week. I'm exhausted. Dare I say it, I actually feel like I can take a break and not play board games for a while and be okay. But I'll get back into it. Frosthaven, it's coming back to the table. I still have Stars of Ikarios underneath this. I probably will not get back to Stars of Ikarios. But yeah, Frosthaven, it's coming out next. I actually have Skies Above Britain. I would like to get that to the table, but I'm just not feeling in the mood for Skies Above Britain right now. And it's because Storm Above the Reich sort of soured me, even though I'm told Skies Above Britain is fantastic. So anyways, there you have it. Thanks for watching. As always, I don't normally do reviews or something like this. I always have opinions to all the games, I guess. I saw Paul Grogan he went through every game in his collection. I thought that was a cool idea. I might do that sometime. As you know, I don't like to put my face on the camera because it's a vanity thing. I just don't see the vanity behind it. But it is weird because I'm just, moving my hand in front of a camera. Hello, beep, 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 beep. I don't know what else to do, I guess. But I could do more of that. I just prefer to just play. And if I'm playing a game by myself, I like to record and talk to the camera because, it actually makes it more fun. And I've met some fantastic people, some of you out there. So thank you all so very much. Happy New Year to everybody. It is New Year's Day today. And that wraps up Gameghis Con. This was our 7th or 8th year of this. So, 8 years of Gameghis Con. I know there's another Gameghis Con out there, so if you go to Google it, you'll find there's another one. And yes, we totally, probably got inspired by that or something. I don't know. It's actually really hard to come up with a unique name. So, but anyways, we love Gameghis Con. It's perfect. And anyways, thanks for watching. Stay awesome. Frosthaven's next.